In Raccoon City, Dr. Marcus, founder of Umbrella Corporation, seeks a cure for his daughter Alicia, who suffers from a disease causing premature aging. Marcus, eager to save her, records Alicia's voice and likeness as a backup plan. Eventually, he discovers the T-virus, capable of curing numerous diseases. This treatment rescues Alicia and Umbrella markets it as a new medicine. Later, in a South African cable car, a child who took Umbrella's medicine chokes on a peanut and collapses, leading adults to perform CPR. Suddenly, the child turns into an undead and attacks the teacher. By the time the car reaches its destination, all passengers are dead or mutated. Marcus's partner, Isaacs, conceals the incident but later clashes with Marcus over the T-virus's fate. Marcus wants to destroy it for safety, while Isaacs aims to use it for military purposes, ordering Agent Wesker to kill Marcus. Isaacs becomes Alicia's guardian, gaining control of half the company, and solidifying his power. As Umbrella rises in global influence, Isaacs, needing assistance, creates Red Queen, an AI resembling Alicia using Marcus's recordings. 10 years later, a virus outbreak hits Raccoon City, bombed by the government, but fails to contain the T-virus due to its airborne nature. A global pandemic spreads rapidly, claiming most of humanity within days. After years of battling various foes, Alice and a small group of survivors converge in Washington, D.C. for the final showdown. Falling into a trap, Alice narrowly survives by hiding in a metal hatch. Emerging afterward, she finds the area, including the White House, destroyed. While attempting to drink from the National Mall, an undead attacks her from the water. Alice struggles but breaks free as the creature's leg snags on razor wires. Scavenging for weapons amid rubble, Alice encounters a flying undead emerging from debris. Escaping in a jeep, she outmaneuvers it, causing a collision before fleeing. The creature returns, seizing the car, but Alice speeds up, causing it to crash. Using explosives in the car, Alice traps and destroys the monster in an explosion. A siren sounds, and a hidden camera scans Alice as she investigates. She enters an underground bunker brimming with weapons but finds it deserted. Suddenly, a fax machine begins repeatedly sending a message, "Hello Alice," while screens light up to reveal the Red Queen. The AI claims to be working against Umbrella and urges Alice to join her cause. Their conversation is cut short by the appearance of an undead, but Alice swiftly decapitates it, thanks to the Queen's warning. The Red Queen reveals that humanity has only 48 hours left and instructs Alice to return to Raccoon City and access Umbrella's main lab, the Hive. There, she can find an airborne antidote to eradicate the T-virus and its infected. Alice sets off for Raccoon City in a new car but encounters a barricade that punctures the tires, causing a crash. Fortunately, she located an Umbrella bike nearby. Approaching it, a soldier emerges from the rubble and forces her back, triggering a trap that suspends her upside down. More soldiers arrive and attack, but Alice fights back fiercely while hanging. She subdues them, retrieves a gun from her boot, and shoots the rope, freeing herself. Despite the soldiers' attempts to retaliate, Alice prevails, defeating them all. Now, she attempts to use the bike, but as she is not an Umbrella affiliate, the bike electrocutes her, rendering her unconscious. Later, Alice awakens in a small cell alongside other prisoners and encounters Isaacs, who unveils that the previous Isaacs she eliminated was a clone. He discloses that he has eradicated all of Alice's clones and preserves their heads in a box. Suddenly, a door opens, revealing that her cell is within a massive Umbrella tank, trailed by hordes of undead. They thrust Alice outside with her hands tethered to the tank, compelling her to run behind it to evade death. As undead draw near, Alice fends off one but realizes her odds are slim. Seizing an opportunity when the guard is distracted, Alice hides beneath the tank and dispatches him to become food for the undead. Another guard emerges, prompting Alice to swiftly defeat him as well, hurling him to the undead. Subsequently, Isaacs enters, sparking a ferocious duel. Despite their prowess, Alice gains the upper hand, attempting to end Isaacs using the rope. Isaacs retaliates, prompting Alice to slam his head against the tank. Dispatching the undead with swift maneuvers, Alice resumes her confrontation with Isaacs, eventually overpowering him and compelling him to release her from the handcuffs. As they engage in a final clash, Alice nearly vanquishes Isaacs until another tank intervenes, opening fire on them. At that moment, she notices an umbrella bike inside the tank. She cuts off Isaac's hand and uses it to activate the bike, escaping swiftly. Driver Lee deploys the tank's turrets and missiles to eliminate her, but Alice skillfully evades all his shots, successfully escaping. A few hours later, she finally arrives at Raccoon City, which features a huge pit in the middle. As she drives through the street, a blinding light flashes from above, causing a pole to crash down, destroying her motorcycle and rendering her unconscious. Upon awakening, she finds a man named Doc attempting to administer an injection. She apprehends him as a group of armed individuals arrives. About to be attacked, Alice's old friend Claire intervenes, vouching for Alice's allegiance. They move to the roof and spot Isaacs approaching with 2 tanks and his undead army, prompting them to devise a plan. Suddenly, Alice starts coughing and collapses. Fortunately, Doc has medicine to treat her, and once she recovers, Alice agrees to help defend their fortress from Isaac's attack in exchange for assistance in finding the antidote later. Despite limited weaponry, they have ample gasoline, constructing catapults for strategic use. As night descends, Isaacs and his army arrive. The team launches a flaming projectile, destroying one tank, forcing Isaacs to halt the other and release a survivor as bait. Alice opens the building for her while others fend off the undead with bullets and another flaming projectile. As the survivor nears the gate, the tank fires to kill her, allowing some undead to infiltrate before the door can be shut. Doc and Claire combat the undead, but Isaac's orders lead to shoot the door, causing an explosion that throws the couple back. The team above hurls rocks to crush the undead, but Lee fires the turrets on the roof, thwarting their traps. Below, the team fights to prevent the undead from breaching the barricade, engaging in a fierce battle where one member is bitten and killed. Recognizing the barricade's vulnerability, they rush upstairs, dousing the lower level with gasoline and igniting it with torches, incinerating the undead. Alice ziplines down, shooting zombies as she advances toward the tank. Despite Lee's gunfire, Alice remains concealed, sneaking atop the tank to pour gasoline into the vent, igniting massive flames within. The tank halts, and a soldier opens the hatch, only to be swiftly dispatched by Alice. Lee emerges and engages in hand-to-hand combat with Alice, eventually kicking her off the tank. They continue their fight on the ground, where Lee gains the upper hand and seems poised to win. However, an undead appears behind Lee, distracting him, and Alice seizes the opportunity to shoot him down. Inside the tank, Alice dispatches another undead before discovering 2 survivors but no sign of Isaacs. Upon exiting, her team arrives, aiding in the battle against more monsters and capturing Lee, whom they tie to the tank and use as bait for the undead. They spot 2 more armies approaching the city and decide to hurry to the hive for the cure, with the survivors from the tank joining them. Descending into the pit, they are unaware that Isaacs is observing them from a distance and that Wesker is monitoring their approach through the Red Queen's security system. As the group reaches the bottom of the pit, they find themselves surrounded by dog-like monsters. They shoot at the creatures while fleeing through the pit, losing a member to the monsters in the process. Reaching a cliffside, they leap into the water, pursued by some of the dogs. Swimming to shore, they lose another member to the relentless pursuit. Escaping into a tunnel leading to the hive, they leave the dogs behind, too scared to follow. Wesker orders the Red Queen to seal the entrance as they rush inside. Along the tunnel, Alice fights off an undead attacker, allowing the closing door to crush it. The Red Queen reveals Isaac's plan to trigger the apocalypse using the T-virus, sparing only high-ranking Umbrella executives. She enlists Alice's help, warning of a traitor in the group, a warning Alice dismisses. Meanwhile, outside the city, Isaacs encounters another Umbrella tank. Soldiers decline to pursue Alice due to conflicting orders, prompting Isaacs to kill them and take control of the vehicle. Leading a horde of undead to the city, he attempts to descend into the pit, but the tank gets stuck, surrounded by creatures. Back with the group, they traverse the main hallway and encounter a giant fan blocking their path. With the power out, Alice cautiously maneuvers through the blades. Others follow suit, but as power is restored, the blades start moving. Fortunately, the team swiftly dodges them and crosses safely. Wesker, observing through security cameras, orders the fan reversed, causing suction. Holding onto whatever they can find, One girl struggles, and despite Alice's efforts to save her, she is sucked in and shredded to death before the power outage. The group then crawls through a vent using Alice's digital map. Suddenly, the power returns, and a section of the floor gives way, causing a man to plummet into a shaft. As he grasps the door to prevent his fall, it closes abruptly, crushing his fingers before he plunges into a cavernous abyss. More trap doors open, sending the rest of the team into tunnels. Alice lands in a dark laboratory teeming with bodies, hearing movement in the shadows. Another team member falls in, and they navigate together until a creature awakens, distracting the man while another monster attacks from behind, killing him. In the struggle, Alice is struck but swiftly recovers, shooting the creature until it falls. The creature, however, regains its footing and lurks, tracking Alice's flashlight beam. As it lunges, Alice uses a chain to restrain it, then flees, striking the monster whenever possible. Despite the monster's pursuit, the chain restricts its movement, allowing Alice to stab its head. Doc startles Alice but joins her as they depart the lab. In the main office, Wesker revives the real Isaacs, revealing the tank occupant as a clone. Isaacs emerges from the tank and leads the horde in a chase. Meanwhile, Claire lands in a clear box but uses gunpowder from a bullet to create an escape route, unaware of Wesker's proximity. Alice and Doc stumble upon a perilous area from their first adventure, discovering a bag of weapons left behind by their old team. With only 19 minutes remaining, Alice activates the room's platform using the computer, descending deeper into the hive. During the descent, they witness Umbrella's high-ranking officials in cryogenic sleep, awaiting the end of the apocalypse. Angered, Alice sets up explosives from the bag to prepare a trap before she and Doc enter a strange cavern. Crossing a bridge over water, they arrive at the main office where the real Isaacs awaits them. With only 9 minutes remaining, Isaacs threatens to destroy the antidote, forcing Alice to relinquish her weapon. Doc, revealing himself as the traitor, coerces Alice to drop the detonator as well. Wesker holds Claire hostage while Alice surveys the room, assessing ways to confront Isaacs. However, Isaacs, aided by his cyborg implants, predicts her moves and dismisses her attempts. Confirming his identity, Isaacs reveals to Alice that she is not the original, lacking childhood memories like the clones. An elderly woman in a wheelchair enters. Alicia, the source of the Alice clone's DNA, appears prematurely aged due to illness. Despite her frailty, Alicia, who owns half the company, terminates Wesker's employment and demands Isaacs's demise. This action allows Red Queen to harm him, so she swiftly closes a blast door, crushing Wesker's leg and trapping him. Doc attempts retaliation by shooting, but Alice, suspecting him, had already removed the bullets from the weapon before handing it to him. Alice hurries to confront Doc while Isaacs escapes, eluding Claire's attempts to shoot him down. After a brief struggle, Alice subdues Doc and leaves him for Claire to execute for his betrayal. Alice places the detonator in Wesker's hand, knowing it will activate once he loses consciousness. While Claire and Alice pursue Isaacs, Alicia accesses her memories on the computer for a special revelation. Despite Claire and Alice cornering Isaacs, their bullets miss as he evades his cyborg enhancements, granting him exceptional strength and speed. As the elevator ascends, Isaacs engages both women in combat, incapacitating Claire before focusing on Alice, who defends herself with a keyboard. Though Alice nearly pushes Isaacs off the edge, he counters swiftly, putting her at the brink instead. With a platform approaching, Alice strikes Isaacs and moves away just in time. When the elevator halts, Claire regains consciousness and resumes the fight, but Isaacs easily defeats her once more. Then he turns on Alice, striking her several times before hurling her into a corridor where he activates a series of lasers. Dodging them by swiftly moving and climbing the walls and ceiling, Alice avoids the lasers before resuming her fight with Isaacs. He throws her through a wall, and she nearly falls but uses debris to injure his leg and continue the fight. Isaacs hurls Alice around the corridor, but she perseveres, laughing as she fights back. Soon, the lasers reappear, and Isaacs raises Alice's hand, threatening to sever her fingers. Alice, in a moment of quick thinking, throws a pin on the ground, revealing she planted a grenade inside his jacket during their struggle. The explosion weakens Isaacs significantly, enabling Alice to retrieve the antidote. With time running short, Claire urges Alice to leave without her. Alice exits the hive and prepares to administer the antidote, but Isaacs intercepts it. As he prepares to shoot her, his clone intervenes, unable to accept being a mere copy, and proceeds to fatally stab the original Isaacs multiple times. His distraction leads to the undead catching up to him and killing him as well. In that moment, Wesker dies, and the explosives detonate, destroying the hive and killing Alicia. Outside, Alice retrieves the antivirus from Isaac's body and administers it, causing all the undead around her to perish instantly before she collapses. Later, Alice regains consciousness and finds that Claire has escaped. The Red Queen suddenly appears and reveals that before her death, Alicia uploaded all her memories for Alice, granting her the childhood she never experienced. Subsequently, Alice departs on a bike. Knowing it will take several years for the antivirus to completely eradicate the infection, she resolves to continue battling monsters to safeguard humanity. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications for more content like this. Thank you for watching.